I want to say a word of warning about manifesting. And this is what most people never see. None of that will work. I'm going to give you 3 practical, clear steps. When was the last time you told yourself you were going to do something, but you didn't? And nothing changed, no circumstances changed, you just didn't do it. You couldn't carry on through. And what if that isn't a willpower problem or a determination problem or even a motivation problem? But the problem is you're trying to do something that was never yours in the first place. 3 years ago, I became slightly obsessed with this question. Why don't people do what they say they're going to do? At the time, I was working in my clinical practice, and so I was working with people that had dependencies, mostly for alcohol and binge eating. I consistently found that the problem was not the substance or the behaviour. The problem was what that substance or behaviour was numbing, was comforting. What discomfort was that taking away or relieving? And that became the entry point to the bigger question. What was driving the behaviour beyond the surface? You see, the mind doesn't operate as one thing. It operates in layers. We have the conscious mind, the navigator, the logical thinker. It's deliberate and it sets the direction. We have the subconscious mind, the maps, built from experience, belief, conditioning, habit. It runs the show most of the time without us even realising it. And then we have the non-conscious. This is the territory. This is the full expanse. It's autonomous. You don't control it, but you can create the conditions for it to work through you. When these layers are aligned, when the navigator and the maps are working together, doing what you say you want to do stops being a battle. It becomes natural. And when that alignment is there, the non-conscious has space to move. Insights appear and opportunities that you could never have planned for arrive. But here's the problem. And this is what most people never see. There are 2 types of wanting, and most people cannot tell them apart. First, we have ego wants. They're driven by social pressure, the need for validation, the need to be long, the need to be enough. They're often future orientated. So it'll be something like, when I have this, then I'll be happy. Or when I reach this goal, then I can slow down. There's also an urgency about them, a pressure, a restlessness. You feel like you need to be working on them. And this actually can drive great motivation in the short term. But following them without the awareness means that you're going to be living a life of hustle. Because these wants, they belong to an ego, a separate self that believes itself to be an individual, finite, and that breeds scarcity. Because this ego believes itself to be alone and having to constantly fight for its place in life. So that's the first one. That's the ego. The second type of want is what I call life wants. And these are intuitive. And you're drawn to them like a magnet. It's often the thing that you've circled back to, maybe even for your entire life. And when you sit with them, when you really let yourself entertain them, there is a kind of relief, but there can also be almost that you can't allow yourself to go there because it might feel even too good to be true. Too easy, too simple. But there's often a sense of a release of pressure, an expansion, and sometimes you might even feel that you need a permission slip to go there. I felt that. I felt that I needed to hear that others had let themselves go there before I could. And I think it's because maybe they just feel so familiar, maybe even mundane. that, you turn away from them sometimes. And both of these wants can look identical from the outside. They can both look like working hard, striving, same kind of effort, but they're running on completely different maps underneath. So how do you tell the difference between whether you're following an ego want or a life want? Ego wants feel hard, inconsistent, stressful to sustain. They're unsatisfying when you've achieved them. You immediately move on to the next thing. It's exhausting. Life wants, they feel energizing. They're nourishing in the process itself. And you're supported. There's synchronicity, unexpected opportunities in your life. And there's no obsessive end goal. There's satisfaction along the way. So when we're talking about doing what we say we want to do, it is very important to take a look at the want, to know where it's coming from. And I want to say a word of warning about manifesting, because this is $1 billion industry. We're manifesting all the time. Every experience that we have, literally every perceptual experience, is a manifestation. So manifesting is something that we do naturally. It's not about visualizing harder. It's not about affirmations. It's not about bigger vision boards. None of that will work if what you're trying to create was never yours in the first place. It was ego's. So if you have worked out if what you want is an ego want or a life want, and now you're thinking, what next? What should I do? I'm going to give you 3 practical, clear steps. So, awareness first. You now know that there are 2 kinds of wanting, and that's pretty big. Most people go their whole life without realizing that distinction. Number 2, pay attention to life. Where is it pulling you? What feels stressful versus what feels exciting? What opportunities are arising without you having to force them? It's through opportunity and synchronicity that life communicates to us. Well, it's one way that life communicates to us. Number 3, work on the maps. We have to work with that subconscious layer. The subconscious patterns running our behaviour were mostly built in childhood. They may not even reflect who you are now or what you actually want. When the conscious and the subconscious minds are aligned, that's when we allow space for the non-conscious to move through us. And this is when we begin to realise we have this sense of clear knowing. We have a guidance. It's muted because there's just so much noise, but it's that sense of clear cognizance. So if any of this has resonated, or if you've recognised that you're following an ego want, or maybe when I mentioned life wants, something in you stirred, that's your clear knowing beginning to communicate. The next step is working on those maps, rewiring those subconscious beliefs and those patterns that are running on autopilot. And that is exactly what MindScript was built for. It's a self-hypnosis tool that is personalised for you. It works directly with the subconscious mind, and I will put a link in the comments so that you can go and check it out. Thank you for listening. And if you are interested in exploring this human experience with me, then subscribe and I will see you next time. Thank you.